Jake Paul's now doing MMA.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Kind of genius, right?
Brilliant. Can he get Nate to do the fight?
Does he want Nate to do the fight?
Well, what he said is, Nate, he basically goes, Nate, I want to do a 2-fight deal. We do a boxing match first, and then we can rematch 6 months later and in MMA.
Yeah.
Which is genius, because you let him get his get back.
Yeah.
Now, you also let him get his get back, but you could also just retire at the first fight and be like, man, fuck you, I'm out.
Which would be
I'm not getting my
hilarious.
fucking ass kicked. I made my money.
But there's the contract would stipulate, and there's no way you'd get paid out. Like,
that's true.
there's no way you could get around that contract.
That's true. He would say, yeah, in order to get the full payment or something.
Yeah, like you have to complete both, whatever. If someone forfeits due to injury, whatever. Like, there's got to be a clause for that. There's no way.
I mean.
But I'm like, does he even want Nate? Like, I can't imagine he beats Nate in just a full-on MMA.
Oh,
fight.
MMA, there's no way. But in boxing.
I think he gets fucked up, though.
Yeah, but he does the boxing match first.
I mean, it's not the same day.
No.
6 months later.
6 months. So he has 6 months to train MMA, basically.
I mean, there's no way. Look, I don't know if there's any way, but that being said, he doesn't have to do the fight. Like, there's no way.
That's my question. Like, what is the hedge here? So I think he takes him in boxing. I think he can compete and probably beat him in boxing.
Yeah.
He goes to the fucking ground and they're grappling, like, or he just gets fucking pummeled in the head. Like, I don't see how this ends well for him.
Yeah.
I don't see what the outcome of this that's positive. And either he has to pull out of the fight and look like a coward, or he takes the fight and gets fucking his head busted.
Yeah.
Or he thinks he can actually beat him, which maybe he can. Like, I'm not the fucking gonna bet against him.
Immense size over.
Huge.
Yeah, so it's
I mean, Nate probably bulks up, but like Nate was fighting between 155 and 170, and Jake is like a 200-pound guy that comes down a little bit.
so it's like, that's a big difference. I don't
But
care
I'm
how
talking
technical
years of
you are.
jiu-jitsu, fucking all that
Bro.
shit.
Oh no, MMA. I think you give Nate the advantage. I think if Jake was being honest, he'd be like, yeah, he absolutely has the advantage.
He'll have the advantage, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk.
Yo, I mean, let's just keep it a buck right here. Like,
It's going to be a cakewalk.
If
50 pounds is huge.
if Jake connects, he still connects, and now with the little gloves. And Nate is a guy who likes to strike.
Yeah.
He doesn't go grab your legs when he does it. Like, he likes
I think
striking.
he would grapple if he's fighting Jake. I don't think he's going to try to strike with Jake, especially if he lost a boxing match already.
True.
Yeah, I thought maybe Jake was doing this because he knows not his skill, but his boxing career is more or less peaked in the sense that, like, he's probably too far behind the true good boxers who've been doing it their whole lives to beat them. And he can keep piecing up these MMA guys, but how many of them are going to be good fights that draw? Yeah. There's 2 left. There's Nate and Connor. Connor, I don't know if he's going to want to fight. So I think he's thinking, wasn't he like a wrestling high school, like badass or something?
Who's that, Jake?
Jake?
He did wrestle in high school. I think Logan was.
I don't know if he was good, but I think he thinks with my boxing being better than them, I can maybe get my wrestling up enough and probably have an ownership stake in the league to make a lot of money this way.
I mean, the ownership stake is wow.
Yeah,
that's a boss move to do. Like,
yes. And you're not going to get the best MMA fighters because they're going to UFC and then Bellator. So you're going to get MMA fighters that aren't, I'm sure they're great, but they're like 3rd tier, for lack of a better way to put it. So he probably thinks, all right, it's going to be lesser competition, again, for lack of a better way to put it, and there's not that many boxing fights left for me. I can elevate this thing, have an ownership stake, cash out. This could be his prime.
Yeah, I guess I'm just curious how much you can actually create another league to compete or another promotion to compete with UFC.
I don't know if he needs to promote to compete with UFC. I just think he needs to cash out. No. I don't think UFC is worth, billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to be worth billions of dollars.
I think if he's paying fighters more than UFC's paying fighters, then fighters are going to.
But then where does that capital come from?
Where's
Like,
the money come
now he's
from?
in a whole different business. Now he's not just like doing promotion and fighting. He's like running and trying to run a league. Or he just trusts the people that are running it and maybe they have capital he doesn't even know about. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, with the fighters, like, let's say, for example, Saudi Arabia says they want to do a competitive UFC, competitive league with the UFC in the same way they did with golf. And they just go, we'll just pay everybody twice as much as the UFC.
Yeah.
They could do it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
There's something like insanely proprietary about UFC that makes it.
the fighters want to make money.
Yeah.
And if you just pay them, the reality is that the unknown fighters in an unknown promotion don't make any money. They just don't. Like, the promotion is what creates the eyeballs. You know what I mean? It's like like, look at with boxers. Like, there are so many boxers out there that most people just don't know. They can't hype themselves. And if you have a promotional apparatus to hype up the fighters and amplify the ones that are already good at hyping themselves up, like, we've seen guys who are really good at hyping themselves and the careers that they can build for themselves. Like, it's amazing.
You see that Davis